Yo, what's going on, y'all? So, back with another one. So, on the one of the prior videos that I did, I think it was Lake of Fire Part 3. I was describing how I had an astral projection, which elicited me doing that video, the whole Lake of Fire series, right? And it pertained to the sign Cancer actually being at the north of the human anatomy and Capricorn being at the south of the human anatomy. Therefore, Mars energy accelerated in the south region is going to heat things up, and therefore people speak of the lake of fire and things of that nature, right? So I was like, yo, get in the comment section if you want to hear the astral projection. So here it goes. Somebody said that they wanted to hear it. I do have your name too. Don't. I'll put it in the titles across the screen when I do the editing. All right. So boom, shout out to you. So here goes the astral projection. So before I get there though, right? The primary reason why I did the series is because I had this astral projection, and at the end of the astral projection, which you're gonna hear eventually, is this woman telling me or asking me really, are you ready for your brimstone? My last words, boom, I wake up. All right. So now let's get into the astral projection. Now this is going to morph into like 3 to 4 maybe different projections that I had in this night that I was sleeping. As a matter of fact, I got the dates. Hold on, because I just seen in another video that someone the last one I just did, someone used the dates that I put and said that they had the same chemical reaction to headaches and toothaches at the same time frame that I was having mine. So I see that this might be a good thing to do, is like post dates and times and stuff like that, so y'all will be able to track this stuff too. We might have some similarities and correlations that we could make here, right? So okay, so again, in the Lake of Fire Part 3, I said that I had posted a song first. I posted a song because sometimes I leak my music on my Facebook so I can let my immediate people hear it, because I just, like I said, I just be doing music because I'm good now. I don't, not even really looking to sell it or none of that no more. So I posted this song, and in the song is a verse that says, my pops, whether or not he knew, inspired me to be great. So he ain't in no liar's fiery lake. And I stated that because I had recently had a dream about my pops too. I asked a projection with my pops, and I'm constantly speaking with the deceased, the ancestors, those who have passed on to another realm. And I don't see them burning eternally and yelling and screaming and with some horned devil nowhere. You know what I mean? Those are my experiences. So I meant that when I said that verse. So I'm thinking to myself, like, after hearing this whole brimstone thing, like, oh, maybe there is a such thing as a fiery lake, right? But now, after I went back to listen to my astral projection, I think I'm sticking to my guns, because brimstone doesn't mean nothing terrible. Brimstone is actually a good thing. Matter of fact, a great thing. So let me read off what brimstone and stuff means before we even get into the projection, because this might help all of us like look at this with a different mindset than, oh, you're gonna burn in hell or whatever the case may be, right? So brimstone actually means obsolete word for sulfur. Now sulfur is something that is good. All right, sulfur is in okay, so they use it, hold on, before we get there, right? They use it to mean a threat of hell or damnation, a punishment that's supposed to last forever after death. So mind you, I told you, I'll be having astral projections. I'll be talking with the deceased, the ancestors, those who passed on to the other realm all the time. I don't see them like burning and reaching out to me talking about please help them. I don't ever see any of that, right? So that's my theory on that. That's why I said I don't believe in any of that. Now, on Earth, and I'm gonna get to this lastly, what I think about Earth and the fire lake of fire, excuse me. But as far as afterlife, I don't see it. But a lot of pastors and a lot of preachers, they say fire and brimstone, fire and brimstone. They say fire and brimstone. Fire could, yeah, burn people or torch people, whatever the case may be. But brimstone, on the other hand, is sulfur. Sulfur is good. Let me tell you the definition of sulfur, excuse me. Is the chemical element of atomic number 16. So pardon me, the first definition that I read was brimstone, which is an obsolete word for sulfur, and it's a threat of hell or damnation equals punishment that lasts forever. So they say, right? Pump fear in you. Here nor there, because I'm starting to go on a tangent already. You hear it, right? So here nor there. Sulfur, on the other hand, is the chemical element of atomic number 16, yellow, combustible, non-metal, It's relatively non-toxic to humans, and it's an essential element for all life, resembles oxygen in chemical properties, and is used, especially in the form of sulfuric acid, to extract phosphates from ores. Phosphates is the sulfuric acid that is used for fertilizers and cleaners and things of that nature. Fertilizers. Think about that for a minute, all right? And it's extracted from ores. Ores are basically like rocks that are mined, and sediments are extracted from his minerals and stuff inside of these rocks, and they extracted it and they sold for profit and stuff like that. All right. So when this woman had told me, am I ready for my brimstone, I took that as a threat. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, word? Okay, that's what we doing? All right. So then, when I wake up, I think about the rhyme that I made and all that. I'm like, oh, what we doing? Religious war here? What we doing? But now that I went back, because I went and listened to my dream over again before I came to do this video, right? So I heard it over again, and I'm like, let me look for the real definition of brimstone, because I'm always associating it with the term fire and brimstone, fire and brimstone. I told you I grew up in the church as a little kid, and I heard that story plenty of times. You're gonna burn in hell and all this shit, right? Whatever. So, that's the definition of brimstone. That's the definition of sulfur. And there you have it. So now let's get into the astral projection, and we can make a better determination of what's going on here. So this starts off as me. Okay, so I'm on this. How do I say this? I'm in this park, right? There's this park that is in the area where I grew up at. It's a school park. So it's a school, and then it's the park on the other side of the school. So in summertime, we go there a lot, play there. There's basketball courts there. Sometimes play baseball, things of that nature, or we just hanging out, right? Now this park has significance because when I first started learning about, or should I say, when I first started getting serious about astral projections and connecting dots and making use and sense out of all of my dreams, there was this one particular dream that really pushed me to do this, and it took place on this same block that this school is on, that this park is on. And the reason why I started taking it real serious is because the name of the block is Daniel Low, and Daniel, in the biblical times, is a prophet who could see through his dreams, right? The Daniel story. If you don't, check out the book of Daniel in the Bible. So in that particular dream that I was talking about before, in that same dream, I went from Daniel Low to a block called St. Mark's. Mark is also a prophet that's in the Bible. So I was connecting all of these. That was a super wild dream, yo. I had this years ago, though. You know what I mean? So this is the dream that really made me start taking these things way much more serious. Real prophetic dream, real symbolic dream. So here I am back at this park in 16. The name of the park is 16. It's in Staten Island. So we grew up there. Now, I get to the playground, right? But the playground is different. It's like, because in this playground, in this park, right, it's in between two blocks. It's sandwiched in between two blocks. So on this block, the left-hand side, well, if you're walking down this way or walking up Daniel Low, it's on the left-hand side. It's up high. If you're on the other side of the street, the other block, which is on the right, it's down low. So it's like a pit. It's like you walk down these steps into the park. You get what I'm saying? So I'm at the top part of the park. However, it's like 3 pits downwards. It's like 3 sets of stairs going downwards. And then I didn't necessarily see steps of stairs, but I know there's 1 step of stairs just from my memory. But looking downward, I can tell that it's much more further than the 1 flight of steps that it used to normally be. So I see this kid, like there's gates surrounding it. It usually is this gate surrounding the park. And I'm climbing the gate. I'm scaling the gate, right? And I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I'm trying to get to my family. I'm trying to get to my family that I grew up with. So I was adopted as a child. You know what I'm saying? So my adopted family, I'm trying to get to them like as fast as possible for whatever the case may be. I didn't know initially. This is just how the dream started, right? So boom, I'm scaling the gate. Now notice when I look at the gate, that part of the gate is like ripped off. So you know how them gates be tore down, they be tore up, nobody fixed them yet. So it's kind of tore down like that, but these gates is real sturdy. So it's not like I'm looking at it before I move, like I can still scale down this gate and still make it, you know what I'm saying, without it collapsing on me. But I was hesitant just to make sure. So as I'm looking and I'm studying the ripped part of the gate, I see this dude, right? And he has a Muslim name, which his name is Allah, right? He has a Muslim name. Grew up with this kid too. So I see him, and he's like, and he looks as we did as we was kids too, by the way. So he looks at me and he's like, where you going? I was like, yo, I'm getting to my family. I'm trying to get to my family. He like, yo, they over there. They on the other side, like on the other side of the gate. You know what I'm saying? And we don't live too far away from there. It's kind of a distance, but it's not too far away from there. And he knows that, so he's just like, yeah, they over there. But it's just like, it's feeling like these gates are stopping me from getting to the other side. Now, mind you, there is a war breaking out. There's a war going on in the pit of the park and around the park, and I can't necessarily see everything detailed, but I can hear like the roaring of those movies. You know how like you turn on one of those Troy movies or Gladiator movies, it was sounding like that through the entire projection, you know what I'm saying? But it's me and him at the top on this gate, and like no one else is around us close enough for me to detail like any gore or people stabbing each other with spears or whatever, because I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Now, my parents that adopted me, they hardcore Christians, you know what I'm saying? So, boom, I guess we could put those dots together rather quickly, is that I'm bumping into a dude who got some Muslim name. His family probably Muslim too, but I don't know to confirm that. And, you know, I'm trying to get to the other side to assist my family. And we could take a break real quick and just talk about what the Crusades were, right? It's like the Muslims against the Christians, or the Moors against the Christians, you know what I'm saying? So I'm piecing that together. I'm like, all right. So boom, once he tells me where they are, the projection stops. I'm catapulted into the next projection. And the next projection, I'm inside this apartment, come to find out. At first, when I first had the dream, I didn't think it was this apartment, but it is. But the only reason why is like, so you know, sometimes you could be in a projection and certain things would change, or to be changed around. Like it just, the energy inside of my apartment didn't feel like it was my apartment, so to speak. But it was, because I remember my refrigerator now, and I remember reaching on top of the refrigerator for a bottle of liquor. So I'm in here with two dudes that I grew up with as well. They are deceased now. They have passed on. They are actually brothers as well. So this is another confirmation of how I just be bumping into people who are on the other side now and things. You know what I'm saying? So they got this. There's a bottle of Hennessy. Like one of them, both of them thoroughly drink Hennessy. Like thoroughly, they put me on a Hennessy. Like I was never really a Hennessy drinker until they put me onto it. You know what I'm saying? I just never liked the taste of it. Like that shit is just nasty to me. I'm gonna keep it official. So, and it's mad strong. Like who wants to be that drunk? But anyway, there's a bottle of Hennessy in the kitchen on the counter. So I grab the bottle. I see them. I greet them and say what's up. First, I only seen one of the brothers. I seen them. I said what's up. I grabbed the bottle and I popped the cork out of it, but the cork is different. The cork is not like your average cork out of a Hennessy bottle. It's more flat, like it, and the top of the bottle is in the shape of a piggy bank slot. So it's like a slot for coins. All right, so I popped the cork out, and then I looked at it. I seen how weird it was and stuff. And then it dawned on me that I don't drink this shit no more, and that I don't want none. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, now I'm realizing I'm dreaming. I'm like, I don't want none of this shit. So I put the cork back inside of the bottle, and I put it on top of the refrigerator. But before I did that, right, it's kind of weird because I wrote a letter on the back of the Hennessy bottle. You know how you could peel the sticker off? I wrote a letter on it with a black marker and put the letter inside of the bottle of liquor, and then put the cork on it. But mind you, I didn't see myself doing this. This is something that I knew in my brain that I did, but I didn't visualize myself doing that. I know it might not make sense, but you could telepathically know things or find out things inside of your dreams without actually seeing them in the moment or somebody telling you about it. And this is one of those things. So, because it didn't dawn on me that I wrote the letter until afterwards, when the friend came over. They got a friend in there with them too who I didn't know. He grabbed the bottle to drink some, and he was like, yo, there's a letter in here. So he pulls it out and gives it to the other brother. Now the other brother comes around. He's like, it's a letter. What the letter say? So I didn't see the letter. I couldn't read it. We didn't get to read the letter, or whatever the case may be. But I just wanted to let it be known that I did write a letter and put it inside of the bottle of Hennessy. For what reason? I don't even know. You know what I mean? But that had happened. So I get out of that dream. Now I'm into another astral projection, right? And in this astral projection, I'm on a block that is 1 block over from my parents' house that adopted me. All right. So I'm 1 block over. So I'm walking up this block, and I see some of my people's. This is who I see. I see a dude. I'm not gonna name him. It might be too fresh still. I don't, But I see a dude. I was real close with this dude growing up too. He was older than me. He used to hang out with my brother and stuff. God bless his dad. So I bump into him, and I'm like, oh shit. We used to have mad fun when we was little. He showed me mad shit. Took me around town. Showed me mad shit. It's my dude, yo. So I bump into him, and he's on the block over from my parents' house, and I'm like, yo, what's good? He like, yo, what's good? So he's sitting with like 2 or 3 more friends who I don't recognize, and they're playing like dominoes and or cards, one or the other. I can't really remember, but it was one of those games that they was playing on the porch of this house that we used to hang out at. Well, I really used to hang out at the house next door, and the dude who's deceased that I'm talking about, he used to live a house over. So he was sitting 2 houses over from the house that he used to live in on that block. And I'm walking up to them, and one of my boys, who's also deceased now, used to live in the house that he was sitting at in front playing dominoes and stuff like that. Rest in peace to him too. I'm gonna keep his name out of this just for out of respect. So he like, yo, what's going on? What you doing? I said, I'm about to go out of town. He said, where you going out of town? I said, I'm going to Texas. He said, I want to go to Texas too. I said, all right, so come on, let's go. That was the end of that projection. I didn't even get to because usually there's a cut, so I go up to my parents' house and stuff like that. I didn't even get that far. That was the end of that projection. So then we get to this projection where I'm near a ladder. Now, before I get to explain this part of the projection, I want to tell y'all something. I don't know if you've seen this video that's floating around YouTube. It's about this guy. He's being interviewed. He's an older dude. He's an older Caucasian male. He's got to be like 70, maybe 80. But still seems to be very coherent and in good shape. So I'm not using that as like a downplay of him. But there's this video that's floating around that teaches people how to manifest. He's being interviewed by somebody. And he was like, well, how did you make your money? How did you, get rich and stuff like that? And he was like, this dude taught him how to get rich. With the story that he gave, he said the dude told him, if you want to get rich, this is something that I need you to do. And if you can do this, I'll train you on how to get rich. He said, I want you to tell me that you will not climb a ladder within the next 7 days, and don't climb a ladder. But if you climb a ladder, I want you to come back here. No, he said, if you climb a ladder, how did he say it? He said, if you climb a ladder, then the deal is off, or something like that. But I want you to come back here and no, he said, if you climb a ladder, come back here and tell me that you climbed the ladder. But if you don't climb the ladder, something like that, then I'll train you, or then I'll teach you, or something like that. So he was like, what, for 7 days, don't climb a ladder and you'll teach me? Bet. That's simple. But he was like, what you got to do is you got to go to bed every night. Right before you go to bed, you got to tell yourself that you're not going to climb a ladder. You're not going to climb a ladder. You're not going to climb a ladder. You're not going to climb a ladder, right? And you got to do this right before you go to bed, and you got to sleep in an awkward position that you usually don't sleep in. So the point being, you got to make yourself uncomfortable every night you go to bed. So he's like, that's cool. I can do that. It's no problem. You know what I'm saying? So, but the dude said you also got to envision yourself going up the ladder and coming down the ladder, going up the ladder, coming down the ladder, going up the ladder and coming down the ladder. As you tell yourself, I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. And do the same. He wants you to write it down on pieces of paper everywhere in your house. I'm not going to write a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. Put it in your car. Put it on the mirror when you brush your teeth. Put it everywhere. So everywhere you go, you see this and you train yourself. I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. So he did all of this, right? I looked at this video. I started doing the same thing, and I said, I'm going to make a significant amount of money this year. or I said I'm not gonna make a significant amount of money this year. This is reverse psychology, is basically what I'm saying about this story, right? So I'm pretty sure you want to hear the rest of what happened with dude who went to do this study for the teacher, right? So he goes and he does exactly what the teacher says, and he's on like the day before the last day that this study is over, right? This lesson is over, or whatever the case may be. So something had happened that interfered with his regular routine, which made him take the day and say, you know what, I'm gonna go see my mom. I haven't seen my mom in such and such and such and such. I'm gonna go see my mom. Like, so he goes to see his mom's. It's like his day off or something like that, you know. Goes to see his mom, get on the bus, goes to see his mom. Now, as soon as he gets to his mom's place, they talk and they chit chat, and it's like it's nothing. It's like second nature. So she's outside doing garden work and stuff like that, and she's got something else going on, like landscaping with the roofing and stuff like that as well. So she was like, son, can you go up the ladder and grab that thing for me, or whatever the case may be? And before he knew it, he was already like almost halfway up the ladder. And he was like, oh shit. Like, he called himself like, oh shit, I fucking climbed the ladder. So he grabbed whatever it was, like a pair of gloves, or I forget what it was. He came back down the ladder and he was like, here, mom. He was disappointed at himself, but he was like, fuck it. He's going to go back and tell the teacher the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, he climbed the ladder. So when he got back, there was like a room full of people who, on the first meeting, there was like a room full of people. On the second meeting, it was like half of them. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe a few of them. And he was like, what are you doing here? You climbed the fucking ladder, didn't you? He's like, yeah. He was like, yeah. He said, well, that's how you're going to get rich. What does that really mean? To me, just to not drag this, it means reverse psychology. And it means like sometimes when you tell yourself that you're not going to do something, you don't know what you're not going to do until you fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, oh, because there's a few times in my life, I don't know about the rest of y'all, the way I said, I won't ever do that, or I won't ever do that, I won't ever do that. And then I end up doing it, and it's like I almost have to do it, sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got out of that. But anyway, not to drag that, right? My point being is, so I do the same thing, and I got this thing running around. So I'm thinking now that this is why this ladder was inside of my dream. You know what I'm saying? Because I had been doing this practice. So the next astral projection, I'm walking past a ladder. Now, at the top of this ladder, there's a painter. But before I even lock eyes with the painter, I see in my vision, like not in the actual projection, but in my vision, like my eyes close and open again, and I see the face of this black woman with a short bob haircut, and she's like, oh my God, no. She's panicking, she's frantic, but then boom, it shuts off. I don't see her no more. So I'm looking up this ladder at the painter now, and I'm like, is she like trying to warn me to not speak to the painter or to not climb the ladder or whatever? Okay, maybe it was that. Maybe it was my mom being conditioned to not climb the ladder, right? So I'm looking at the ladder, and I start climbing the ladder in the dream, but the painter dude, he stops me, and he's like, he turns around at the top of the ladder, he's like, no. He's like, you do something real well, you do it very well, but you do it excessively. So I'm gonna build, now at the top of this ladder, there's a sewing machine. Not the one like I got either. It's like the old school joints, the sturdy ones with the built inside of the wood that's usually nailed down to the floors and stuff, right? So I peep it from it's at the top. It's at the top stair. The painter isn't even that high, but he's almost at that point. And he's like, you do something real good, you do something real well, but you do it excessively, you do it too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build a compartment on the side of this to prepare it for you so it works better for you. I think he said something regarding waste or something like that. Maybe I do it excessively to the point where I waste something to that nature, he said. So I'm just like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm like, now I didn't know at this time that ladders in your dream means that you are bettering yourself. You're preparing to do something that has more standards than you're used to doing. It has a higher standard that you're used to doing. So you have to like rid some old either ideologies or how you peg value to things. You gotta step it up a level. That's what ladders in your dream means. So I didn't know that immediately, but I know it now. So I'm like, all right. I stepped back down the ladder, and I remember the painter too, Caucasian dude about my build, and he just like had paint all over his clothes. He had like regular jeans on, a sweater, dad hat to the back, black hair. But he wasn't like yelling at me, but he was stern as well though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not ready for this. So that's another thing too. Like, when you see a ladder in your dream, it's like you think you ready to take on this next level or something, but you gotta adjust some things before you take it on. You have no idea type shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, if you heard my last video, you see my last video, you heard what I said about you know, the fashion and Satan, Saturn, yada yada yada. So you could probably piece that together with this too. But I climbed back down the ladder. I ain't tripping or nothing. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm listening to dude, right? So now, boom, astral projection again. I'm in the next one. So now, and it's weird, right? Because when I went back to listen to the dream, I believe I was in a courtroom, and but it was empty. It didn't have the usual, like the judge, the lawyers, and the officers and stuff like that. It was me and 3 other women. Now, one of these women I know. I actually do business with this woman. We do things together and stuff like that. She's a Cancer, right? So the other 2 women that's with her, I don't know though. I don't know them. Now, mind you, this I forgot to read off the dates. My bad, y'all. So on the day that I posted the song was on July 2nd. The date that I had this astral projection was July 12th, 2022, which is Cancer season, and the moon was in Sagittarius, if that could help anyone. So, oh shit, I just made another connection. I don't even know if I should jump. All right, let me finish where I'm at right now. So, I'm in a projection and I see these women, and the woman that I know, the Cancer woman, she's looking at me, but she's not looking at me like she usually would. Like, she's looking at me like with these suspicious eyes. She's looking at me like she's suspecting foul play about me. Like, and the feeling that I get off is like she doesn't believe me. Like, she thinks I'm frauding. Like, she thinks I'm not the real deal, or, you know, like what I'm doing is like some underhanded bullshit. Now, mind you, the negative aspect of climbing a ladder too is that you, like, something didn't work previously or prior. That was some like deceptive shit. So now you're trying to do some other shit that might be deceptive. I think it's something like that. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Yeah, I was right. So it's like doing something dishonest or going against somebody's wishes and doing something dishonest once your first dishonest idea didn't work. That's the negative aspect. The first one that I spoke about was the positive aspect of seeing a ladder in your dreams, right? So, and I'm open to both of them. Trust me, I'm open to both interpretations. But if I was doing something dishonest, I'd be honest about that. You know what I mean? But here nor there. Now, if it's something that is something that the world or society frowns upon, or a group of people frown upon, I'm not tripping over that. You know what I'm saying? It's not against the law, and it's business. Like, I'm with it. So I'm not. Why am I explaining myself? Right? There's no need to do that. So, but I do want to explain both sides of the spectrum, because it has a point to the dream because of how this woman is looking at me, and it's like, why is she looking at me like that? Now, it could have something to do with the way that we interact in day-to-day life. Like, I'm not the greatest, and I've learned this too, that I'm trying to improve that this year about myself. Like, I'm not the greatest person at reaching out to people. So, like, let's say we cool, we got good rapport with each other, we done business with each other, we do business here and there. I still might not hit you up like, hey, how you doing? Until like maybe months later, weeks later, or something like that, instead of daily, or, you know, maybe sometimes not even weekly. And it's just like, sometimes people got to reach out to me first. And I'm just like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm naturally like that. I don't do it intentionally to like hurt anyone's feelings or to purposely do it. It's just that that's just how I am. But I've been working on it to keep it better, to build, because relationships are so important in this world. I've been finding out for some time now that to improve myself, I like to improve my relationship. So I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking maybe that's why she was looking at me, because it's like, motherfucker, you ain't hit me up in like how long, or whatever the case may be. Or, you know, it could be that. But nonetheless, she's looking at me mad suspect, like I'm suspect. The feeling that I'm getting when I'm in a dream is like she thinks I'm fraud, and like she think I ain't about what I say I'm about. You know what I'm saying? So it's irking my nerves, but I don't say nothing. I'm not saying nothing. So at the same time, while she's looking at me inside this courtroom, you know those machines that the stenographer, it's called the stenographer, right? That the stenographers have. Maybe it's a stenograph or something like that. But it's not a typewriter. It's them things that they be typing mad fast when they do the court proceedings, right? What do they call those things? The minutes. So I got one of those. But at first I'm thinking it's the sewing machine, because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with a stenograph? Like, why did I have this? But it's cloudy in here, but it looks like a courtroom. So I'm like, okay, this must be a stenograph, because I felt my fingers moving on it. And her and these women were recording what I was typing to test me, to figure out if I was the real deal or not. That's what was happening in this moment. So I'm tapping away at the keys, and they're like going up. Now they're going up into like the judge area. At least she is. You know what I'm saying? The Cancer. Now think about this, right? This just dawned on me. Cancer at the arc of the zodiac wheel. She's going up to the judge thing at the top of the courtroom, and she's like peeking at papers back and forth, looking back at me like, like, you know what I mean? Suspicious of me and shit like that while I'm doing this typing and everything. So my confidence is building while I'm doing this. I'm like, I don't care what she think about me. Like, I'm for real about this shit. Like, I'm telling myself, like, I'm for real about this shit. She gonna see all truth. She gonna see the real deal with them answers, with them results, right? And then I'm thinking about the painter that I just left, who said the same thing. Like, yo, you're very good at what you do. You're real good, but you do it too much. Which I understand now means, again, Saturn is in Aquarius. You're putting yourself way too much into fashion. Time is not for that right now. Like, you gotta make some adjustments. You gotta do some other stuff first. Build up your value, change some things around, make yourself more qualitative, then get back to that. Now I get it. But at first, while I'm in a projection, I didn't get all of this. So she up there in the chambers or whatever, peeking back and forth with the papers. So I'm sitting there waiting for the results now. You know what I'm saying? But the results didn't come. The next thing I know, the projection switches, and now we're in a graveyard. We're in a fucking graveyard, yo, right? So she's still there, but the other woman, I don't know where they went. They disappeared. I didn't see them no more. So she was like, so I was able to actually look at the tombstone and remember the words. Sometimes I get lucky like that. Numbers, all that, sentences, all types of shit. Sometimes I get lucky like that and I remember all of it and I'm able to get it back to my diary, right? So this was one of those times. Now I want to explain the graveyard to y'all too. The graveyard is like, it's kind of big, but where I'm at in the graveyard, it's like a block going up this way and a block going that way behind me. And the tombstone that I'm at is like, 2 tombs away from the corner, from like the edge of the graveyard, right? So I'm sitting down on the ground. I'm sitting down on the ground in the grass. Like, I was visiting this site. And I look at the tombstone and it reads, the life of a Cancer. That's what it says, the life of a Cancer. It don't have no dates of when it was started or when the life started or when it passed or anything like that. It just said the life of a Cancer and it was engraved in the tombstone. So I'm thinking this could mean a whole bunch of different things, you know what I'm saying? But what a tombstone means, what a headstone means, is that there's parts of yourself, there's aspects of yourself that's buried and that have to change. And there's no going back to it, and you understand that now. That's what seeing a headstone or a tombstone in your dream means. Like, there's this deep aspect about yourself that's buried in you, and you know this about yourself, but you're like putting up with other stuff in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying, like, you almost forgot this about yourself, and it's like, you know that certain ways or certain things that you're stuck to. I think it got something to do with maybe Cancer attachments as well. That might have something to do with this. Hold on, I want to get the exact feel of this is what I'm saying. Yeah, so to see a headstone it represents a forgotten or buried aspect of yourself, personality traits or life situations that aren't as relevant or powerful as they used to be. You are noticing that something is gone for good. Any message you see on the headstone symbolizes how changes to your life or personality are currently affecting you. Now, mind you, I got a solar return in the 4th house right now, which is the house that's ruled by Cancer. So So it's like this, right? The circumstances, the personality traits, and the situations that they're talking about that is buried, or these attributes about myself. So I'm gonna open up a little bit right now, and I'm gonna say this, right? Like being an adopted child, it has its benefits, of course, right? I was jammed up in a situation that was very difficult to get out of. The only way out of it was to be adopted. I'm gonna just be real with you. You know what I mean? And my peoples came through for me and they got me out of that situation. It wasn't even a situation where I didn't know these people. Like I grew up with them too. Like they knew me already. You know what I'm saying? And I knew them. So it made sense. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful and grateful for everything they've done for me. At the same time, it's not simple being an adopted child. No matter how hard the family makes you feel like one of theirs and their family, you do realize that you come from a lineage of someone else's. And it's not like I don't have family members at all. I do. I've always been the black sheep of my family, though. You know what I mean? A lot of my family have inner wars, still to this day have inner wars, and it's not simple to just get back in the good graces that we used to be in. It's just like things really, really change with the times. I would have to chalk it up to, despite how many other families stay very close knit and tied together. My family just doesn't happen to be that one, or should I say, my branch of the family doesn't happen to be that one. And I'm cool with that. I'm okay with knowing exactly who I am and who I come from, who my peoples are, my direct predecessors are, and who the rest of my family members are. It's all good. But at the same time, I find myself a lot of the times putting myself in a scenario in my mind where I have to forever be attached to that part of my family. You know what I'm saying? Without, there should be no guilt being felt. Is pretty much what I'm saying. When I depart and I do my own thing and I find my own way, because when I reflect now in retrospect, that's what the whole thing was for. People, it takes a village to raise a child. You know what I'm saying? So when people can grab hold of you like that and direct you and guide you in the way that you should go, you should be able to get back to who you are and be the best person that you could potentially be. And, either start your own family or whatever that consists of, whatever your mind frame is of what consists of what building a family is. You know what I'm saying? For me, it just happens to be, I'm not with my child's mother and stuff like that for years. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I have my own family. I have my own lineage, but I don't have my own family. You know what I'm saying? For me, my family is my business family. And of course, the people who are close to me, who help raise me and stuff like that, my partners, my closest friends, I consider them as family. It's just certain things don't always click to the point where I have to force myself to be obligated to the type of relationship that once was. You get what I'm saying? And that's what this tombstone was showing me, in my opinion. Get in the comment section if you feel anything different, or if you determine something different, or if you agree with that angle. You know what I'm saying? Especially after knowing my story, because I'm the type of person, like I could be so devoted and loyal to people that I'll put myself on the back burner to make sure that they all right. And even if it's not like financially all right, or like doing favors, it's just emotionally all right anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever I can do emotionally for them, like I'll stay attached in that kind of way. You know what I mean? Or it's just stuff like that, instead of taking care of myself fully and going full on with myself. You know what I'm saying? That my journey. So I'm strongly believe like that's what that whole thing with the tombstone was about. Is like, first of all, raising the bar when it comes to the ladder, right? Raising the notch on the ladder in order to get to that top pinnacle, and also having to look at traits about myself, and know that certain situations don't have to have me bound to the point where I have to behave a certain way or shrink myself to not be the giant that I am, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to be that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Once again, too, because it's just like, I was always that nigga, but it's like when you get into so much trouble, sometimes you really got to sit your ass down and figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it's like, that's not all, it wasn't all totally me. It's just a boy growing up under certain circumstances is pretty much what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So now things must change. Things have to change in order for me to reach this next level. You know what I mean? So now that I summed that up, and I might have to even go back to that and toy with that. I'm not even 100% sure that that's what it is, but that's what I'm leaning on. That's what my intuition is guiding me, like, in decoding that, like, you know, the life of a cancer, and cancer rules over family and stuff like that. And you know how cancer could be very sentimental and attached to things to the point where they're not able to let go. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, we take it back to the first projection. It's like I'm trying my best to get to the other side, to get with this branch of my family, and it's like I didn't get there. Get to the next astral projection, I'm a block over, I still didn't get there. I'm like, yo, I'm going to Texas, and it's like, yo, why can't you go to Texas? Why can't you go do you, dude? Like, why do you have these fears or these concerns that you need to get back to where you used to be, who you used to be, and things of that nature? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I looked at it. So right before this projection was over, Shorty said to me, and this is the woman, it's the cancer chick. She said, "Now, are you ready for your brimstone?" Now, she said it with these, like, I ain't even gonna hold you. She said it with, like, these devilish, like, spooky, demon, ghost-looking eyes. You know what I mean? And through the entire dream, when I'm seeing her, I'm like, yo, I ain't even know this side of her. Like, sometimes I do, because she's so artistic. Like, you can see these things in her, right? But I haven't seen them, like, expressed on some regular shit. Like, she wasn't in costume and none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? She was just, like, in some regular clothes and, like, doing all of this. It's just like, you ready to see your brimstone? And I just, boom, woke up like a snap of a finger, right? So now, mind you, let's get back to it. I'm thinking, brimstone is fire and brimstone, yada, 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 yada. So now I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Lake of fire, brimstone. Brimstone is actually something that is used to help in the world, like a motherfucker at that, right? So, as we mentioned before, someone else or some other people added fire to the brimstone to scare people, and right? This is what I think, though. This is what I theorize. I theorize that there are certain hot points on the earth, because y'all might have heard me before. I don't believe Elon Musk. I don't believe NASA. I could make the same images and videos on my Photoshop and After Effects that they do. Like, I don't believe them. I've seen rockets, like, hitting the firmament and stuff like that, and that could be altered video effects too. You know what I'm saying? But they keep floating around these TikTok videos of, like, rockets being shot off. It might be his too. And they're, like, scraping against the firmament of the mist. You know what I'm saying? It's written in the Bible. Like the dome sky. Hope this video don't get flagged, y'all, or demonetized. But anyway, I believe that type of stuff. Like Richie from Boston. I don't know if y'all ever heard Richie from Boston. He got a YouTube channel too. Like, he wants to send a helium balloon with a camera, like a GoPro camera attached to it, all the way up. And it started, like, he got footage of it. It's like thudding at the top. Like, it doesn't keep going. It's like stuck at the top, like, doof, 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 doof. And you see, like, mad cloud, like it's way up there. Right? So I say that to say this. All of Mars, going to Mars and shit, I think, like Total Recall, like, Mars is a condition on planet Earth. The same way I've started thinking as a teenager, like, heaven and hell is probably two conditions that exist on Earth. And these guys are adding, these religions, these pastors are adding theatrics to it. These popes and stuff are adding theatrics to it. The Pope is recanting a lot of statements lately. That's another time. But they add theatrics to it in order to keep the average human obedient. So that, but if you look around, they're, like, running rampant, doing whatever they want to do, and even to the point where they're, like, telling us that they're taking round trips to Mars, and now they got billion-dollar companies. Like, really? Oh, y'all using Mars accelerated fiat currency, pumped up by debt financing. Anyway, tangent again. I don't believe that stuff. I believe that there's some hot points on planet Earth that are going to continue to get hotter. I believe global warming. I believe the scientists. I'm a scientist myself. I believe the scientists who are aware that global warming is occurring, sea levels are rising, that it's getting hotter in temperature. I believe it's according to the population as well, because I think the more solar plexus, right, solar energy come into the world, then the more hotter it's going to burn. Like, doesn't that just make like simple sense? I don't know. Let me know. Get in the comments. Does that make sense to you? Like, we arrive here with a temperature of 98.6 degrees, right? Or 96.8 degrees, some shit like that, right? So that alone lets you know it probably should be a relative measure of the hottest it should be on the planet, so we don't burn as humans, right? But when it start getting like 116 degrees and shit like that, what the fuck is going on? So I got a theory that this is why, you know, some people are like trying to downsize population and stuff like that too. Like, they're aware of this shit, that the lake of fire is something that takes place on Earth. Now, I'd have the people pass on to the other realm and stuff like that, because I told you I'll be kicking it with them already. I'll be talking to them all the time. They'd have been told me something like that, or pointed me in that direction. Like, yo, don't come here, bro. It's hot. No one has ever told me that on the other side of things, and I don't really want to talk to the Christians who say, "Oh, this the devil in your dreams. They could trick you into believing that they're your loved ones. The devil will come in the form of your loved ones." But then y'all have dreams saying that y'all saw Jesus, and those are the dreams that get broadcast the most and praised. So you're trying to say the devil can't come in the form of Jesus to talk to you either? I just said you just said that the devil could come in the form of your friends and your loved ones. So if you love Jesus, he can't come in the form of Jesus. You see how that should be contradicting itself, and this is why I be getting in them battles with them. Tangent again, but anyway, I got to make my point, Bob. It's like, yo, I don't believe in all that, but I do believe in science. I do believe what's happening with these temperatures increasing, and I believe these hot points are Australia, Florida, California, Texas, you know, Arizona. I think Colorado was one of them, although Colorado has like ice caps on the mountains somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. So these are all hot spots that are continuing to get hotter. Name some more if you know about them. You know what I mean? And I think the more that time goes on and behaviors continue to go, the more you can see those hot spots increase like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and mind you, in the astral projection, in one of them, I told my boy, I'm going to Texas. You know what I'm saying? I already had ideas of going to Texas to do stuff and everything anyway. You know what I mean? But this whole sulfur thing, and take your time, if you get the time, watch Total Recall again, because I think Mars in the movie Total Recall is a place where it's so hot outside that people have to stay inside. Like, this big, the cities are like built on like long, huge malls now, and people got to live inside of there, or else if they go outside, they'll burn to death. You know what I'm saying? So I think about that. I think about Mars and stuff. I think about stuff like that, not like actually going to some place that's other than here. Like, I'm not jacking that. And now this sulfur thing being brought to my attention now, it makes me think like I'm gonna be all right, because just like Daniel, what they threw Daniel in the lion pit, right, with some fire or some shit like that, and he didn't get touched. That shit ain't burning me. Woke up the next day like, what's good? What we doing? You know what I'm saying? And I have that type of power, so I'm looking at myself like that too. You know, I keep having dreams over there. Just had this dream over there on Daniel Low Terrace, so I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be good, you know what I'm saying? Sulfur, fire, and brimstone, you know what I'm saying? Give me the brimstone. I'm gonna get the brimstone. I'm gonna be good. Like, it's a substitute for oxygen. That's what it says, right? A substitute for oxygen? Like, come on, B. It resembles oxygen in chemical properties and all that. Like, y'all not gonna pull the wool over my eyes like that. You know what I'm saying? It's basically what I'm saying. So, again, Mars being exalted in Capricorn ruling over the south of the region, the lower region of the human anatomy in the zodiac wheel. Again, activity, right? Activity could be a lot of fucking going on, a lot of birth rate increasing, a lot of more sun being birthed into the Earth's atmosphere, and there you have increasing temperatures, which turns this motherfucker to hell. You know? That's my theory anyway, for now. So I hope y'all enjoyed this session. I'll be back with another one probably before you know it. You know what I'm saying? Get in the comment section. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Extend on this as much as you want. I'm open to all of it. Again, I'm glad that the dream videos are starting to gain more traction now. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have a playlist, but I just created a dream playlist. I'm going to sort through all of these videos and like, because I need to sort through them and like make thumbnails for some of them, make them more attractive, you know what I'm saying? Add the cards in there to send you to the website and stuff like that. Like, I've been getting lazy on that type of stuff, y'all, so I'm gonna get back to that. But there's a dream playlist now, and as I sort through the old videos, everyone that's a dream video, I'm gonna add them to the dream playlist and like get this stuff more organized. So y'all could go directly to certain spots, you know what I'm saying? You can save whatever videos you like more than others, and you know, do your own studies and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Participate in the dissertations. It's sort of like dissertations, you know what I'm saying, that we discussing over here. All right, I'm out.